about to betray the witch, the lion, and the wardrobe.
Don't.
They're gonna do what now?
We
They're
knew
about
about
to
this.
betray the Chronicles of Narnia. The same director chick that did Barbie is now doing the new Witch, Lion, and Wardrobe.
Oh, that is so
You got to be kidding me.
beautiful.
Yeah,
So
It's bold. It's Darren. It's how what is it? Oh fuck! I don't even
listen,
know.
we know it's
Right.
going to be shit.
Great,
This is written
stunning.
by Hollywood.
Regular.
who
Great
hate-
and stunning.
I need to vent. I need to rage for a little bit. Wow. You know, it's not enough that they violated the Lord of the Rings, right? It's not enough that they've taken one of the most important pieces of fantasy literature, right? Probably the most important one, and made an absolute mockery of it with the Amazon show. But now they have to desecrate the man's grave, his best friend's grave, by the way.
Yeah, I was
By
going to say,
doing
didn't
it.
those stories come out about the same time?
Yep.
Ish.
Lord of the Rings, okay, as far as I can remember, Tolkien absolutely said, yo, Lewis, this is garbage. He hated the books. But then he read it again later down the road, and he said, okay, this is actually pretty neat for a children's book. And it wasn't because of Aslan, by the way, which I know for a fact. I know for a fact that these guys are going to turn Aslan into a Muslim, probably. Don't you think I'm kidding? You think that these guys are not
I'm
going to
not
butcher?
pointing towards any religion other than the woke religion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
identity politics, leftist thinking. Yeah,
And it's so weird. It's a godless religion because what they
Marxism.
worship changes from day to day sometimes.
What they
It's not
worship is a freaking shoggoth of mutilated shoggoths. That's all they do. Like, man,
The Barbie movie literally shamed women for being mothers. And this is the same friggin' director. What are they gonna do to Chronicles of Narnia?
oh, I can tell you what they're going to do. What they're going to do is they're going to turn freaking everyone black, and then gay, and then back to white, and then they're going to give Aslan a freaking purple mane, right? And then they're going to make him into an albino lion, and the Witch King is going to be like a strong female empowerment
the
fable.
haircuts, dude. Imagine the haircuts. The haircuts.
Oh, brother.
I
Good point
Oh,
there.
I
man.
will be shocked if Aslan doesn't have some sort of rainbow somewhere on him.
Maybe his tail.
And Ultimate Kahuna says it well. What is this about? A new Chronicles of Narnia? They better not fuck you touch it.
Oh, they already have. Netflix is
Yeah,
approved and
third.
gave it to Barbie.
Getting
Magram.
Yeah.
Birkin touch it.
Touch
Hey,
it in
I
an
dropped the
inappropriate
F-bomb
manner.
with you on that one, Ultimate. I know I don't do it on the stream much, but I agree enough to cuss at that one.
Magram, you don't understand. Wait, you tell me we talk on the phone sometimes. He's cool. He's a really cool dude. You oh man, if you I mean this genuinely, guys, if you have a family member that watches that show and says, "Hey, this is actually a really good show," disown him. Disown them immediately. All right? They have they are brain dead. They're not functional human beings. And I'm speaking to this to everybody. If one of your family members sees that show or sees a trailer and says, "Hey, they're actually going to do Narnia justice this time," they
Why?
huh,
The Disney movies were actually good and pretty close to the books. They just
Yeah.
stopped making them.
Oh,
you know what? We got lucky with those movies. The same way we got blessed by the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. You know? Oh man.
well, Philip Barajas has joined us, and he said,
Philip.
I've talked to some friends who aren't aware of the culture war, and they told me they felt like they were being programmed during Barbie.
It
Yep.
wouldn't surprise me.
Good for them.
Barajas, I want to say that you have some good people there, and you need to bring them over to our side, so that way they can save themselves from this disgusting, perverted matrix that we are stuck in for the moment.
No, Gino's got a great point there. Worshiping yourself. That's exactly what these people do. This is all identity politics.
Yeah.
They're all
Did you
worshiping
catch-
themselves in this weird, sick manner.
Did you catch what he posted a little bit ago? Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I saw that about saving yourself, but yeah, but these people,
But
yeah,
it lines up.
they're dumb. They're just dumb. It don't work like that. Just don't work like that. You gotta figure out the physics going on in the universe and figure it out. Good
And
luck.
because they are God, they have no clue what is good or evil.
No.
Yeah, they're atheists.
Well,
Well-
Ram said it's all going to be in the name of diversity and inclusion. Watch there be a trans species somewhere in there.
Uh,
But what's weird is all this diversity, equity, and inclusion crap seems to be moving toward making everybody pretty much the same, which is
Yeah.
not very diverse.
Yeah,
Turn us all
Actually,
into a
what
bunch
it
of
is-
androgynous gnomes.
the 3
Hold
by
on.
5
What I was gonna
card of identities.
Maji, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I think Trippy started talking first. I have a little bit of a delay, so if I start talking over people, sorry.
I was gonna say
All right.
they're making the 3 by 5 card of identity checklist. If you're not one of those, they can't comprehend what you are.
You know,
Generic person 1, generic person 2, generic person 3.
Mhm.
let me tell you a little story right now. C.S. Lewis, my man, predicted all of this in a book called that what's it called? That Hideous Strength. If any of you ever heard of that book, it's the final
No.
book, his Space Trilogy. And in that book, you will feel shivers from only like the worst nightmares you have ever had. Because literally everything that he describes in that book, we are dealing with it right now. By the letter. Like
It's
the false progress and the perverted science. And the fact that these guys are just basically creating this godless religion. And the fact that they are just perverting everything that they can touch. Lewis
this
predicted
is
all of this.
nothing new. The fall of every art and culture has seen this happen. This is repeated multiple times in history. This is the fall of before every major society. Just look it up. I'm not exaggerating at
yeah,
all.
I believe you.
No,
Totally
no,
agree.
I'm not.
I
agree.
know. Believe me. I
Well,
know.
it's I still like that meme that's more appropriate today than ever before that says 1984 was not meant to be an instruction manual. But it's 1980. You guys, I've shown you this shirt I got from Luke Radowski's website of the 3 dystopian novels and the Venn diagram where they intersect in the middle says
Yeah.
"You are here."
The
So
only
it's like-
difference between history and now is humans didn't have the technology to unify, so they had to go with what was the main.
Yeah, so
That's
now we
not
can
the
screw up
case
and fast
anymore.
forward.
Yeah.
Now we
Yeah,
have
we had a
the
go ahead.
culture war.
Mhm.
This has not happened
Yeah.
before. Not on the scale that everybody's uniting because our technology allows it to happen. Back then, it was via pamphlets and secret and 1 or 2 people standing up. This allows the individuals to stand up as a group.
Well,
Even
the-
going
the
back
other
further
thing
than
is-
that, even the original civilizations, Uruk, Babylon, stuff like that, there were hubs that just got bigger and bigger and bigger over, hundreds of years periods, a long period of time. And people went to the hubs because there was no way to communicate and do business other than this massive city, which eventually, scum rises to the top, pawn scum rises to the top, the rich of the rich will become oligarchical, the ruling class will be the ruling class, the authorities will be the authorities. Same thing happens, it falls apart, economy crashes, people scatter, begin again. Then the next
Yep.
city rises up, the next civilization starts. But now we got the internet, and that's really changed the game for sure, because we don't have to be at these central hubs. We can communicate,
Yeah.
commerce, and do business anywhere on the planet. Depending on
It
the
still
product.
amazes me how we built this technology out of the same old stuff. I think I've said it before. Morse code, dot dash, binary, 1-0, digital, on off. It's just all 2 digits.
Yeah.
Binary. Polarity.
Normally, banking cycles are 7 to 10 years, but I think we're in the big 100-year cycle.
Which, let me ask you guys this. Do you think we're going to get, a good old-fashioned fall of Rome? with a Caesar, or
It's
is it
gonna be something
go
different.
with the Dark
I can't
Ages?
believe it'll be the same because, like, again, technology's changed the game. The internet's kind
Yeah.
of changed. Like it may not be as hard. It may not be as harsh. It'd be
Are we
like, all right,
talking
whatever.
world
We
or
could still
national?
we still could go that way, or we could turn it around because
We can still
it
communicate.
depends
better.
on which
We
way the
have a
culture war
chance-
ends up flowing.
We have a chance to turn it around unlike previous societies.
I think so too. I hope
But-
so, because if we don't, what are we doing here?
Well, what I'm doing is first off hanging out with you beautiful people and making our own stuff. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, listen, I'm not worried. Like when this whole thing falls apart, I'm gonna be far away, and you guys should be too. Watch it all burn. Then we go amongst the ashes and we pick up the things that are worth saving, and we leave the rest to rot.
Yep.
You know, it's sad.
Sounds very simple.
I'm
but
not
that's
leaving it.
Actually, there's a lot more involved in a process like that than we're thinking on the surface. Because I mean, I read out. You could probably speak to this the most. When we study history, we tend to think of it as all a quick series of events rather than drawn out for years and decades.
Millennia.
So being in it, we tend to like overlook the obvious rather than that bird's eye view of looking down the page of a
Mhm.
textbook.
I mean, I'm of the personal opinion that history doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly does rhyme from time to time.
Yeah.
That's a rhyme too. You're a poet and you didn't know it.
Well, the ultimate kahuna says, my father stated that he did not believe there were any major transgender movements before the modern day, say in ancient cultures. I disagree with him, but what do you guys think?
Transgender, no. Religious and race, yes. It
Well-
takes a different form.
I don't know if
Perversions
this
for
was
sure.
transgenderism because think about the playhouses for like Shakespeare or the what are the Japanese playhouses? The more
Oh, yeah.
those-
Men
those
play
are
the
the
games for
transgender-
guys.
men will play women. Men were
Yeah.
playing women, and they're usually
Well,
more.
if you're
obviously
talking
type.
about like the mummers or something like that, that's a little different. That's a stage performance. But
Yeah, they
But
didn't
that
say suck
individual
my
was
cock,
chosen.
bigot.
There's a reason why that individual played that part because in
Yeah.
their little culture, their little loop of actors, that one was the most feminine. You know.
however, Gino brings up a good point. I bet there were in Sodom and Gomorrah. And there was a lot of that mentioned in the stories of Sodom and Gomorrah, specifically
Yeah.
the cross-dressing or transvestites, not necessarily, but that sort of thing was very much alluded to. And there are also, if you are looking to the Bible, it will say things like, a man shall not wear a woman's garment, a woman shall not wear a man's garment. And if it had to be said back then, something tells me it was happening.
What's going on? It must have been an issue.
Because I don't think God's going to go, hey, you
It's
never
probably
even
an
thought
issue.
about this before. Let me put that idea in your head.
It's usually
Right.
how
No,
laws
I
work.
doubt it.
They don't get made
Hold on.
until it becomes an issue.
Wrangler, are you suggesting that the Bible has some wisdom we can use? That's
Yeah.
not what the modern world is telling me. It's the modern
No.
That's
world
white
wrong.
supremacist talk right there.
Yeah, you fuck. Yeah,
I think
you
you're smart
bigot.
enough to not listen to the modern world.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I mean that.
No, ancient history has a lot to teach. If you look into it, I mean, we're doing the same thing. Yeah. I'd say history does repeat itself. I'm in like opposition of readout over here.
Somewhat,
because
but it's
just
not.
the
It's
way-
not a carbon copy. It's not an exact.
No, of course, but
not in
we're
causal
we're
loop.
only
or not.
human. We're doing the same thing. We've been like this forever since
That's because we have
started
our instincts, our
civilizations.
patterns.
since Göbekli Tepe. You know,
We'll
Well,
fall
like a
back into
teppy.
our ruts sometimes.
Yeah, and
that's why we are. We're storytellers. This is what we do.
Recently, I got to watch an old video of a guy that survived the civil. Like he was in the Civil War. He was a little kid at the time, and like initially he was still in school and he wasn't able to go and fight. But like his older brother or the older neighbor or something went and fought and stuff. And like a year or two later, he didn't know what was going on other than people were coming in and attacking his state. And it's like slavery. We didn't know the war was about slavery until like years later. Then at the time, it was people coming in and invading our land and trying to take over our land, and we were fighting back. And
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
a fog of war. You know, they don't know what's going on. It just all of a sudden it's happening. You know.
well, part of it was just
Exactly.
the age. He didn't. He was too young to understand what was going on. The only thing that he understood about what was going on at the time was that there was these other people that were coming in and attacking his town's lands. They're the people in the town, their farmland and everything, and these other people were coming in and attacking him. And that's all he knew about. So they're going to go and protect their farm from the invaders. And so that
Ding
I'm sure
dong.
we'll see some of that if any weird stuff pops off. Hopefully it doesn't.
Well,
Yeah.
why not? I mean, at this point, everyone seems to beg for it.
Well, I'm worried about Russia and China and where that's going, because if that causes some issues, then Civil War version 2 may either not happen or may cause us to go completely insane and do bad stuff.
Unfortunately, Russia and China are fueled by money.
And
Yes.
unfortunately, a lot of the global infrastructure, as far as transit
All
of goods
free
materials,
of the free
go
big
through there.
powers.
So it'll mess up the entire world's economies.
All three of the big main powers, the United States, Russia, and China, are very, very volatile right now. All
Yeah.
three have an equal chance of dominating the world or imploding upon itself and taking everybody with them. It's not just the United States that's going through economic crisis and growing pains. Look at China. Everybody
Yeah.
says China's the big bad. They're not well. They're not well right now. You've seen the
Neither is
population, the
Russia.
outlook. Neither is Russia. Look at their economy. They're if
they,
not in a worse state than the United States is right now.
they do have issues, but one of the things
Sorry, Mindflower.
that I'm worried about is that if Russia and China group up together, that's going to cause us a lot of issues.
We'd have to have a good reason to.
Watch, by the time all is said and done, the new world superpower is going to be some little country the size of Rhode Island no one's ever heard of.
Liechtenstein. It's gonna be
I will
Liechtenstein.
personally plant my flag in Puerto Rico and have the Caribbean under my flag when all is said and done. You guys are more than welcome to come to my little inland empire. I promise.
Oh, I was gonna go. I was gonna go crap at Royce's place. I was just gonna randomly show up there. I mean, I know we have
You cannot say the Royce dynasty. He
All
has
200 of us.
For it.
This is the Whig
The
dynasty,
Royce
man.
The Whig Empire.
The Royce Empire will be legendary. It will be written in history books about the legion of necro soldiers that his wife commands. It's gonna be glorious. I promise.
Redneck boomers.
Was it Jeff Foxworthy who said, if you thought the Ottoman Empire was a furniture store? Philip Barajas says, Razor Fist says it best. To change culture, you have to engage in it. That's how you can turn society around, and that's what the Iron Age hopefully can usher in, albeit being pretty futile at the moment.
It may seem like
Feudal.
it, but I don't think it is. I
Feudal.
don't think it's past hope yet.
We're broken up into like little communities. We're all our little like JDA community, the Royce community. Razor Fist has his. Eric July has his. We're all little feudalistic armies at this moment. If you haven't realized.
Yeah, but I have seen stuff starting to turn around and certain people starting to speak. You're starting to see a lot of the actual LGBT people actually speaking out against, all the dirty
Mr.
shit.
Mindflayer, good to see you.
All
Hey,
the dirty
buddy.
shit that they're trying to push.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, look at so there's the country singer right now who got kicked off of CMT, which is the country hub.
Was
For
that Jason
singing-
Aldean?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
singing a song not in a small town. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
And
nobody had a
everybody is
problem with
seeing
it a few months ago. It just all of a sudden now someone
Because
Yeah,
he
got
had
Monty,
a
but
offended.
picture with
we're
Trump.
talking about a shitty fucking corporate media channel.
Well,
No,
He'll
but
be
that's
fine.
just it. Look at the Disney.
Let's
Look
look this
what's
up.
happening to Disney. Look what's happening to IDW Comics.
And
Look
Bud
what's
Light.
happening to Bud Light. I mean, it's happening. The
And
people are
Starbucks.
Mega
waking up.
corporation.
Starbucks abandoned
Yes, you
pride
have to-
flag, dude.
The
You have to
hilarity
do the-
is the hilarity is that leftists boycotted something and boycotted a song and it went to number one. Conservatives boycotted a beer and now it's lost a lot of $1 billion in value.
Well, remember,
Oh,
you got to
well,
know
well-
your audience. You got to know your audience. You know what I mean?
A little
The
correction there,
reason
though.
with Bud Light.
You had it right when you said leftists would boycott and get the Streisand effect, but when you say conservatives, it's actually more a mix of conservatives, moderates, and some classical
I think it's
liberals.
everyone on the beer.
It's everyone except the extreme.
Yeah, it's like you have those classic groups that are now collectively considered the right by
Yeah.
the
Hold up.
corporately established
Well-
far left. It's really
You-
weird now.
Hold up,
I
but
guess
you
I meant
also
they
have
got
to
the ball
remember.
started.
God damn it! You also have to remember that you got to know your fucking audience. The reason why conservatives or us boycotting fucking Nike won't do jack shit. But
Because they're popular with the city slickers.
Yeah, boycotting fucking Bud Light. We did make an impact. Gillette made an impact. You know.
I worked at a movie theater and we had little cups for Disney's Elemental and none of them sold.
Oh man.
You know,
That
back when
movie
I was
was
delivering
bad.
pizza, we used to fight over who got to deliver to the movie theater because instead of a regular tip, they would give us tickets for a free showing.
Gentlemen,
Nice.
gentlemen, before we move on, besides the Disney movies, which we can all agree are corpulent sacks of shit, right? Can we agree on that much?
The recent ones, definitely.
Okay, good. I'm more interested in the show Primos.
Never heard of it.
It
Don't
is.
know it.
I know where this is going.
Oh, you know where this is going, Rita? Perfect.
Oh, yeah,
Hey, you
Primos.
better buckle up. You better buckle up. Guys, Primos is probably the most racist show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that Disney kids show that
Yeah.
that the Latin community's mad
Yeah.
about.
To
Yep,
celebrate
yep.
the 100th anniversary of Disney, no less.
Oh wow.
Yep.
That's rough.
Well, listen, Disney's not doing too well. They're trying to sell 1/3 of their fucking company, their TV show shits and all that,
Good.
just for $8 billion, which would just cover what 2 years worth of loss on Disney Plus.
And Gino might have a point down there. It certainly was the drink of rednecks.
Gino,
for quite
that's
some
what I
time.
was. That's what I was arguing.